Welcome to my channel. If this is the first time of seeing my video, you are welcome. My old subscriber, you are also welcome. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at HelloPress7. Follow me on Facebook page HelloPress7 or the 7 blog. Follow me on Instagram HelloPress7. Like this video, comment on this video, and share this video for more updates. Thank you.
Community managers, and they said what corporate mentioned. Corporate said they're working on the recovery plan. They mentioned that November, we're excited about November. November, you all should start seeing some movement for the recovery plan for people to start getting their 1X. How they're going to receive their 1X, that's the part we do not know yet, and we'll get information as we get closer to the time. But what they have done, corporate has created a token. I believe it's the Cosmos token, but they've created a token in HyperVerse where you'll be able to use to be able to withdraw your 1X. So the question that most people have is, when is it going to happen? They're estimating November, this month. I say give yourself November, December, right? So that's number one. Number two, will I be able to withdraw one lump sum? My answer is I doubt it, because that can crash the system. How will the withdrawals take place? We will know once we get there. But what I really want you all to understand why we're doing these updates calls is because a lot of people have been in the cold, in the dark. They didn't know what was going on. All they know is we can't do withdrawal. That's it. And I was one of those individuals too, trying to understand it. And I did everything you all did. You know, I stepped away for a minute. I was like, okay, I don't understand what's going on. But one thing I'm not going to do is hurry up and come to a conclusion. That's something I'm not going to do, especially in business. A lot of people jumped ship, a lot of people left, and that's okay, right? To each his own. We're all independent members. And so I'd like to share with you all from the beginning what happened, what went wrong, what the company has done to make sure it doesn't happen again in the future of the company and where we are going. And that's what this call is all about. So let's start from the beginning of what happened with HyperFund and HyperVerse. So in HyperFund, and the goal and the mission was for all of us to win around the world. That was the goal. And guess what? We were winning. People were happy. People were logging into their accounts. They were excited. I mean, some of us have never experienced what we experienced with HyperFund. We never experienced it, right? I can't speak for you all, but you all know who you are. And so we got excited. We started sharing this with people around the world because we found something. We found a platform where everyone was getting rewards every day. And you could do things with your reward. I remember some of you guys calling me and said, what do I do with all of these rewards? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, do mine. And so remember that this company put this in place for people to win around the world. Also remember that the owners had been a part of crypto since the beginning of crypto. So they understand crypto. They have weathered the storm. They know what a crypto winter looks like. Now, what I want you all to keep in mind is that HyperFund was not the only company they have. The company has other entities, such as the Blockchain Global, the blockchain educational centers around the world. The company owns several exchanges around the world. The company owned one of the largest mining farms around the world. So I want you to know HyperFund was not the only thing they had. But HyperFund was that vehicle that was helping a lot of people around the world. And so with that, imagine that this happened to you. You started a company similar to HyperFund. You see people excited. You see the numbers growing. You see everything that's coming in. And I'm just giving you an example. I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say in 2.5 years, you see this company that you started. All these people around the world joined your company. You see about 2 billion with a B come through your doors. 2.5 years later, you look up, the 2 billion left through the back door. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? What would you do as a business owner? Just think about it. What would you do? Would you try to go into solution mode? Would you panic? Would you shut down your company? What would you do? So one thing that I appreciate about the company is that they went into solution mode. They went to start digging to find out what happened, what went wrong. They also fired a lot of people and had to rehire. Because for something like that, a mistake like that to happen where people don't catch it soon enough, that's devastating to any company, any business. And so what they did was the best thing they knew how to do was to try to go from HyperFund to HyperVerse to migrate these accounts. So as they tried to migrate the accounts, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? The good and bad accounts were still connected. And so then they said, okay, this is not going to work. So they tried to reduce from 0.5 to 0.3%, trying to buy time to figure it out. And then guess what? They finally just stopped the withdrawals. And then they said, let's do it the right way. We are crypto people. We know crypto. So they went the route of the NFTs. Hence why Hypernation has the NFT. Now, so that you all know what went wrong and what they fixed, I'm going to break that down for you. So in HyperFund and HyperVerse, what the issue was is that people were able to use one email and open up several accounts. I'm guilty for it. I had an account for my son, had an account for my mother. I opened several accounts, right? Because that's what we knew. But what happened is some people exploited the system. They didn't have several accounts. They had hundreds of accounts. And the problem was that they started teaching other people to do so. So they were teaching countries to open up hundreds of accounts. So that means if you were to get started, I would give you your instructions. Hey, this is how it works. I want you to open up 100 accounts, do 10 accounts per day until you have 100 accounts. And then what I want you to do is fund the last account. And then you would fund that account. And so when you fund account 99, guess what happens? The rewards would go to all those 100 accounts. So the rewards really never went to people who deserve the reward. It went to all these accounts that they opened. So now you've just exploited the system because you're teaching every new person to do the same thing. What would you do as a company if that happened to you? So the problem is the company did not catch that until 2.5 years later. And they've given all these rewards to these accounts who don't deserve it. But what can you do? It's already done. So what the company said that they decided to do was we need to fix the problem. So now in Hypernation, you cannot use one email and open several accounts. It's one email to one NFT. So I want you all to pay attention that the company looked to see what the problem was and fix the problem. So I'm going to go back and forth so you all can understand why we're in the place that we are and why I appreciate the owners of this company for still moving forward and making sure we have a platform to continue to win. So once they did that, once they went to the NFT route, now it's one email to an NFT. Now, another flaw that was in HyperFund and HyperVerse was that you were able to unlock 20 levels and get rewarded 20 levels. What does that mean? It means that a person who is a community builder, a person sharing it, a person that's helping build the community, that individual, guess what? They hit rank V1, V2, V5, and they're earning rewards as a V5. But this other passive person who only probably shared it with 2 people, and guess what? They unlock 20 levels so they can get rewarded in 20 levels. And now that person who's passive, who only shared it with 2 people, is earning the same exact amount. Is earning the same exact amount as a person who is a V5. So now at that point, it is not sustainable. It's not sustainable at that point. And so the company saw that as well. So in Hypernation, what you will realize and see is that now you cannot just go and unlock 20 levels yourself. The way the levels unlock now, you have to actually hit a rank and then 3 levels will unlock. You hit the next rank, another 2 to 3 levels unlock. You hit the next rank. So now the people who are deserving in having the 20 levels are the people that's actually helping build the community. So I can appreciate that. So again, if you ask yourself this question, how do we know what happened to HyperVerse won't happen in Hypernation? Well, pay attention to what the problems were and what they fixed. I have someone ask me, well, can you guarantee me? I said, ma'am, I can't guarantee you anything because I don't own the company. But what I can share with you are what happened and what they fixed. And that way we do have something sustainable. But we never guarantee anything. That's like if I ask you, hey, can you guarantee me you will have a job for the rest of your life? You can't guarantee me that, right? Because you never know. You can go to work tomorrow and the job's not there. So my point is, so we don't make guarantees, but what we can do is we take calculated risk. We look at what is going on and what they fix. So again, those are two things I just shared with you. So one, you can't use your email to open up multiple accounts in Hypernation. Two, you cannot unlock levels and get rewarded 20 levels deep just because you unlock the levels by yourself. And the next thing is the withdrawals. Withdrawals are now being made through your MetaMask. So in Hypernation, when you do a withdrawal, and keep in mind the withdrawals are working perfectly fine. When you do a withdrawal in Hypernation, guess what? It goes straight to your MetaMask. And with MetaMask, you own that MetaMask. So keep that in mind. With MetaMask, you own it. So 1 second, you guys. I am sending. Someone is trying to jump on the call. I don't have the link. There we go. So with MetaMask, you register, you own it, you have full control of your MetaMask wallet. Now, when you withdraw from Hypernation, withdrawals are taking 24 to 48 hours to hitting your MetaMask. The next question that people ask is, how is the company able to afford to give out 0.7% a day in Hypernation, but they could not give out 0.5% and 0.3% in HyperVerse? Well, great. Let me answer that question. One, the company never said they could not afford it, right? That's the conclusion we came up with. They said they couldn't. We couldn't get withdrawals. They couldn't afford to reward their members, right? We came up with that conclusion. They never said they couldn't afford it. Remember, they don't just own HyperFund or HyperVerse. They own blockchain centers. They own exchanges. They have one of the world's largest mining farm that they purchased. So it wasn't just Hyper that they had. So they never said, we don't have it. What they were trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to separate the good accounts from the bad accounts. But the problem is, if they activated the withdrawal, everyone's withdrawing, the good and the bad accounts, the people who exploited the system. So what they're doing now, and that's why we had to wait so long for this recovery, is they're going through the system, the millions of accounts, and they're looking in the back office to say, okay, this person brought in 1,000, but they only withdrew 500. So this person still needs to get 500 to be made whole again. This person brought in 10,000 and never withdrew anything. So this person needs to be made whole again. So the company is doing that right now as we speak, separating the accounts so they can know which are the good accounts of the people who deserve their 1x, who never withdrew, and the people who withdrew some but didn't get everything. And then the people who have already gotten their 1x in one category. And then you have the people who exploited the accounts in another category. So as the company is doing that, they said, hey, why not create Hypernation bigger, better, more sustainable, fix the holes that we had in HyperVerse, and allow the people who still believe, the people who understood our mission from day one, let's allow them to be able to move forward. And now let's give them 0.7% a day. So again, so when you ask the question, how can they give you 0.7, but they couldn't give you 0.5 or 0.3? It wasn't that they couldn't. It was that there's way too many accounts that were withdrawing that did not deserve to withdraw. And they had to stop. So now in Hypernation, guess what? There is no problem giving everyone 0.7%. You know why? Because all the accounts going over to Hypernation are valid accounts, are real people. So now that person who wants to open up 100 accounts, they won't be able to benefit like they did in HyperVerse and HyperFund. So they're going to try to probably find another system to exploit, but they can't exploit it now in Hypernation. So I respect the company for looking at what the problem is and not shutting down and saying, man, we tried, it didn't work out, let's move on. They still came back with a better platform. They revamped the platform. It's in the world of NFTs, and you all know your NFT has value to your NFT as well. You know, you could sell your NFT if you choose to, and it has value. And so that's where we are with Hypernation. So the 1x for HyperFund and HyperVerse, it's in motion. We will be getting more information this month on how it's going to work, what you're going to need to do to be able to get your 1x. So we'll be getting those details soon. So stay close, plug in. And we say plug in for a reason, you all. See, The person who invited you to Hyper, they don't owe you to call you every day and tell you what's going on. You owe it to yourself to come onto a Zoom like this and hear the information for yourself. Because what if something happens to that person tomorrow? Now you're just lost. You don't know anything. So I'd rather you empower yourself and know that when the calls are taking place, so you can jump on for yourself and your family. So keep in mind, Hypernation, when you get started with Hypernation, now, for those of you that are skeptical, for those of you who say, well, I'm just going to wait on my 1X, I don't want to move forward, that's okay too. But my question to you is this. While you're waiting on this 1X, wouldn't it be beneficial to wait on the 1X and enjoy 0.7% a day? Because the days are going to go by with or without you. So every day is going by, and that's every day you're missing out. So I say, why not start with something very small if that's the case? If you're that person thinking like that, saying, I'm not going to move until this, that's tough. Because what you're doing is you're allowing your past to blackmail your future. You're allowing something negative that happened to you, which we're supposed to learn from it and grow from it. But instead, you let it cripple you and you just sit still and do nothing because you're like, I'm waiting on my 1X. No one is saying you have to choose between HyperVerse and Hypernation. You don't have to choose between the two. Wait on your 1X, enjoy your 0.7, withdraw. See, the worst thing that's going to happen is you keep thinking something's going to go wrong, something's going to go wrong, and it never goes wrong. And somebody just sat here and got rich while you waiting. So my point is, if you're the skeptical person, start off with something small. But here's another thing I want you to wrap your mind around. 0.7%, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That means if you were withdrawing at 0.7%, like you're getting 0.7%, you withdraw every week, you get your 1X back in 5 months at 0.7% in Hypernation. So my strategy, and I go into everything like this, I don't care what crypto platform I'm doing, whatever amount I start with, not whatever amount. If I start with a high amount, I try to get my 1X out first, and then I grow the rest. But if I'm starting with something as small as the minimum package of 400, I will grow that account into a nice amount, and then I'll start to live a little bit, take some out, right? And so I believe everything that happens to us happens for a reason. I believe this was a wake-up call for us to manage what we're doing, right? Manage it the right way. I believe it's also allowed you to diversify. Keep in mind, when we talk about diversification, we mean diversify your funds, not diversify your time. Because you cannot do 3 businesses at once and be successful. You may get a little here, a little here, a little there, but you notice if you focus on one, guess what? You see results. So what I'm saying to you is what we've learned and what we should be learning from this experience is, Hypernation is here up and running. I'll put my time in here, but what I'm going to do is diversify. So whatever I'm bringing, I'll put some here, I'll put some here, and so I can have a little bit everywhere, but my time will be where it is rewarding me the most. But if you're trying to do 3, 4, 5 things at once, it's like trying to catch 3 rabbits at one time. How successful are you going to be? Because you want to get this rabbit, then you're like, no, but this rabbit looks better. I want to go with this rabbit. And you're just all over the place. You may eventually catch it, but by that time you could have been somewhere else. So keep that in mind. So we talked about the 0.7 and how you get your 1X back within 5 months. But keep in mind also 0.7 is not going to be there forever. Right now, you're getting 0.7%. But again, I look at this 0.7 as a company saying, thank you for believing. Thank you for moving forward. This is our way of showing you thank you for all the months that we've had to wait, and hence why they're giving us 0.7%. And feel free to take advantage of it. But again, this call is not to say you need to choose. This call is not telling you what to do. This is an update call, letting you know the pros and cons, what happened, what went wrong, what the company has done to fix the problem, and now they have something sustainable. So I believe this. Their mission for helping people win around the world is still the same mission. Why? Because they're still standing strong. They're still here. The funny part is a lot of us in HyperVerse who were like V5, we came to Hypernation as a V0, having to start from scratch. But the beauty is, even a V0 in Hypernation is better than the top of some other companies out here. So I mean, you've been around, so compare and see. Hibernation and HyperVerse, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't see anything else that can top it. However, I want you all to know everything you have done in your past did not go in vain. For those of you that helped build the community, for those of you that came in here and you started and you got a package, it did not go in vain. This company, if they were here to scam us, they would have been gone a long time ago. I get it that there's some negative people here, and I get that there's some positive people here. But the negative person, my question to you is this: you being negative, how is that helping you? How do you feel every time you say, well, what about this? And what about this? And I don't think this, and I don't think that. Okay, I hear you, but how is it helping you? But at least if you can stay positive and say, you know what, time will tell, we shall see. Okay, then you will feel better too. You won't be as stressed. So when you're negative, you're more stressed, then you're angry, and it's just a mess. But if you can say, you know what, okay, you guys say November, I'll wait, see what happens in November. Oh, now it's December, I'll wait, see what happens in December. Time will tell. And then once it happened, that trust is built back up again. And then you're like, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I really just wanted to let you all know that for me, before I accepted this position, I wanted to make sure the company was going to make good on their promise. I definitely would not be here if the company said, oh, no one's getting their 1X, but we're moving to Hypernation. I wouldn't do it, because that tells me the type of people they are. But when they say our priority right now is to make sure the people are made whole again, that sat so well in my heart. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. See, I had the honor of actually meeting Sam Lee earlier this year in Dubai. And we were all sitting at the table. I was there with Keith and a couple other people. It was like 4 or 5 of us. And Sam Lee is the one who asked this question. He asked us, he said, what are we passionate about? And everyone was telling what they were passionate about. I remember saying, I want to open up an African hotel in Dubai. And it was funny. His response was amazing. He was like, that's easy. I have the connections. If you're really serious, let me know. I can make a phone call to Marriott and we could get, and I was like, whoa, okay. Moving faster than I thought. But I was impressed that he cared enough, right? So when we were done, I asked him this question. I said, well, Sam, what is it that you're passionate about? And his answer blew me away. His answer was that I'm passionate about making people's dreams come true. And I was like, wow. And so for me, at that point, I was able to see him as a human being who cares about others. And it's true about his story coming from humble beginnings, right? And so for him to say that, it made sense why a platform that like this he created that helps so many people around the world. He's not hiding. He's there in the open. We know where he lives. So I want you all to know this. So the things that you guys hear on the news and all these negative things people are saying, you got to remember, a lot of people do things on the internet for clickbaits. A lot of people do things because they have an agenda. They want you to come to whatever story they're selling so that they can now tell you, this is what I have that's better. So you all have to just start paying attention. When people are trying to bash something else and they have another agenda, are they actually looking out for you or looking out for themselves? They may package it, put it in a pretty bow. I'm just thinking about you. But by the way, I have this other thing. No. See, it's so much easier for a company to shut down and quit and disappear than for them to stand strong and keep fighting this fight and keep moving forward. So I have so much respect for the owners of this company and Hypernation, because they put something in place to help us win, and people are winning every single day. I remember there was a point in HyperVerse where we enjoyed waking up every morning. You log in every morning. Oh my gosh, I would wake up every day, like log into my account 10 times a day, just excited. And when the withdrawal stopped, it felt like, what just happened? And so now to feel that feeling again in Hypernation, I don't care if I'm getting 1 reward point a day. The beauty is it's coming every single day, 7 days a week. So that way, if you decide to share and go at it one more time, it's a beautiful thing. So I want you all to know, for those of you that feel like, Well, I lost out because I didn't get the yellow box. I didn't get the purple box. You did not lose out. There's so many people who didn't get the yellow box or the purple box. But guess what? They are looking for you. I have people reach out to me every day on social media and Telegram. Hey, my sponsor's no longer here. I want to move on to Hypernation. How do I move on? So again, your people are looking for you. All you have to do is give them this update. Say, guys, here's the update. Here's where we are. I don't want you to be not in the know. I want you to know what's going on. Take advantage. See, what I'd hate to see is all the work that we all have put in and you all have put in, and somebody brand new comes in and then blows it out the water. And now you're looking at your dreams, right? They're living out your dreams. No, we heard about this first. We started this first. We were here first. Let's finish out our mission for those of you that want to, because I get the ones who just quit completely. That's okay. We respect your stance and where you stand. But when it comes to business, I say this, fail your way to the top. Fail your way to the top, because failing means that you've tried. See, you don't fail at something and just quit and say, I'll never do it again. I always give the example of a relationship. Have you ever had a relationship that failed? Did you quit and say, I'll never date a human ever again? I'm going to start dating lions and bears because humans disappoint me. No, we keep going, but we know what to look out for. We raise, we go to different heights and different levels. So we know like, oh, there's a red flag right there. Oh, you don't keep your word. Okay, nope, I need to go to the next thing. Same as when it comes to business. Before I could move, I needed to know what went wrong in HyperVerse, how they have fixed the problem so it wouldn't happen again, and how we're moving forward. And when I got those answers, it felt good in my spirit. I felt good to move forward with Hyper. So in Hypernation right now, guess what? Being smart about it. You guys, rebuy for a week, withdraw for a week, rebuy for a week, withdraw. Do whatever you want, but learn from what happened. But don't quit and sell yourself short because of what happened. So hopefully you all, this information is helpful as far as knowing what happened with Hyper, what they've done to fix it. I do truly hope that this call was helpful, because I needed to hear this from Keith and corporate for me to move forward. And I myself am saying time will tell. Time will tell on the 1X. So I'm not out here negative. I'm not out here bashing. I'm saying time will tell. I have some people, another question that some people have is, well, what about all the rewards that I built up in HyperVerse? And all I can say to you, that individual, did you hear what I said? The company did not make what they wanted to make. They didn't make anything. Everything that came in went out the back door. But the company could have just said, forget it, we're done. But they won't do that because they have integrity. So what the company says is this: if you were able to get your 1X, 2X, 100X, good for you. But what we're going to do is make sure the people who did not get the 1X get it, even though we took a loss. So now the company took a loss. You still want the company to give you more rewards because you're like, I built these rewards. The company generously gave you the rewards. They didn't owe it to you. They didn't have to give it to you. But once the company found out they were exploited and they didn't make anything, guess what? They're like, well, it's not the people's fault who came in and didn't get their 1X. The least we could do is just make those people whole. And for those of you that want to enjoy and reap the benefits of these rewards, Hypernation is right there for you. But to sit over here and cry about the rewards or the points that we build, I have so many rewards in there. But that's the least of my worries. You know why? My main concern is the person who didn't get one reward. So if you are crying about rewards and you made your initial back plus some, and there are people who didn't get it, wouldn't you think you want them to get theirs first and not bash the company and be mad at the company for a company that's still here saying, hey, guys, we'll give you 0.7 over there. Those are all new accounts. They're clean accounts. We can give everyone 0.7. But over here, we're going to focus on the people who didn't get their 1X. Don't you think that's fair? I think it's fair. Even if I was one of those people who didn't get their 1X, I would be just all I would want is my 1X because I worked hard for that 1X that I put in. So for the company to be thinking about those individuals, that says a lot about the company. And for those of us who got our 1X, we can move on. You can either move on to Hypernation or you can move on to something else that's better out there for you, right? But don't sit here and just be that negative Nancy and you're negative every day. I get it when life gets in the way. I get it that people are upset. Please, it's okay to be upset, but it's not okay to stay upset. I get upset sometimes, but guess what I do? I shake it off and I said, okay, let's go again. Because if you have breath in yourself, you could breathe, you wake up in the morning, you can open your eyes, you have life in you, you can get out there and do it again. That's how I look at life. Hopefully you are looking at it the same way, because we can't control the unexpected things that happen that we have no control. But what we can do is how we maneuver, how we move through ups and downs, through things that happen that's beyond our control. That this was beyond the company's control. Do you think the company did this to themselves? They didn't do this to themselves. So we don't have no sympathy for them. That at least they want to make the people whole, and they've given us a whole nother platform at 0.7% a day. And we're still just stuck in but I had 3 million in rewards. Okay. The company had goals too for themselves, but that was gone when people exploited the system. So they're not blaming us, the people who helped build and got all these. They're not blaming us. They're saying, work with us. Let's start over and let's do it right. So hopefully that was helpful. I just wanted to share that. I'll let Jillian and Maku and Miss Mary unmute if they have anything else they'd like to share on top of it. But that is the update. We will have more updates every week from corporate. And as we get the updates, we will come and address those updates with you. So make sure you're plugged in. Make sure you're in the Telegram group. I'll make sure that I add the other Telegram group. It's called the update group. It's called Hypernation Information. And that particular group is just updates, meaning we'll put just the calls in there, schedules in there. That's it. And no one can talk in that group. It's just only strictly information. And that's so that if you ever get up one day and say, what call is going on today? I haven't been plugged in for 3 months. You can go in that Telegram scroll and see what's going on. But it won't be a lot of people posting, because when a lot of people are posting, it tends to push the message up and you have to go searching for the message. So that's why we created a separate Telegram group just for Hypernation information and HyperVerse update. So it's called Hypernation Information. And I'll make sure if it's not in the chat, if someone has it, they can put it in the chat. But if you don't, I'll look for it and put in the chat. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope this was a helpful call just to inform you of this amazing platform. It is the same platform we had, just better. So if we did what we did with a flawed system, imagine what the company can do with a flawless system. Now, the people who are actually helping build the community, you will get rewarded what you're worth because you earned it. But there were other people that didn't earn it. They just unlocked all these accounts and got hundreds of accounts, and they made a killing. But you can't cry over spilled milk. The milk already spilled, so you can't cry over it. It's done. It happened. But what we can do is move forward in a positive manner. So Jill, Malcolm, Ms. Mary, feel free. If there's anything else you all would like to share before we end the call, please feel free to do so. And then, another thing real quick. Most people want to know, if you want to move to Hypernation, how do you move to Hypernation? Most people purchased the yellow box, but never did anything with it. So here's what I like to say with you for that. If you got the yellow box, you may need to want to log in to see how many people followed you over to Hypernation, because the yellow box allowed people to follow you over from HyperVerse to Hypernation. So that would be the first thing I tell you to look at. The second thing I'll tell you to do is make sure you subscribe. Because if you don't get a subscription, a membership, guess what? You're missing out every day from all the people that followed you over. And also the people who followed you over, your group, reach out to them and make them listen to the update call. Why? Because they got yellow boxes too, and they're just sitting there and they don't know that Hypernation is giving you 0.7 a day and withdrawals are working. You're getting it in 24 hours. It's going to your MetaMask. And it's a beautiful thing. So that's what I would do if I were you, if you got the yellow box, but you didn't do anything else. For those of you that missed out on the yellow box, to get into the nation, you just got to get a green box. How do you get a green box? Reach out to the person who's helping you. If your sponsor is not here and they quit and they're gone, guess what? Then you reach out to these leaders who put this call together and say, hey guys, hey ladies, hey gents, I'm ready to go into the nation. I want my 0.7%. All you have to do is get your green box. Once you get your green box, you pick a subscription package that you want. There's a 400, 1200, and 4800.